Alright, so if you're new to prepping, a lot of people are, we got a lot of new people on the channel, and I really appreciate that. I was trying to think, what's a basic set? What's your most basic starter set of preps? And I started putting stuff in the bag, and I took stuff out, and I put more stuff in the bag, but I wanted it to be as tight as possible, and you can certainly do more. We could do more all day. I was trying to do less, trying to figure out what is the most basic set, whether it's a get home bag, whether you're new to prepping, whether you're on a limited budget, what's the most basic set of things you could say, I have something, I have some preps. So that's kind of my idea here as I'm going through this, just to come up with a super basic list. And I did it around the rule of threes, right? If you're new to prepping, rule of threes is kind of your survival standards, and it should help you prioritize what you're prepping. First rule of threes is 3 minutes. 3 minutes without air. You could say 3 minutes without medical attention, and you're not going to make it, right? These are all you're not going to survive, and you might say, oh no, I can hold my breath for 4 minutes. Not the point at all. So in going on the rule of threes, 3 minutes without air, 3 minutes if you're bleeding out or less, right? Some kind of medical kit. Some kind of medical kit is always a good idea, even in the most basic prep, and even if you don't want all that stuff. Tiny little medical kit, right? This is just a trauma pack for stop bleeding. Comes with bandages, trauma pads, gloves, the whole thing. So maybe I should have just shown this, right? I'm trying to go bare bones minimum. Basic trauma pack, basic first aid in any situation, any emergency. First 3 minutes, you want to treat the wounded, right? You don't want people bleeding out on you. So some kind of basic first aid, an IFAC, something like that, trauma pack, anything. Rule of threes, right? 3 minutes. 3 minutes, medicine, air. If you want a gas mask or something like that, great. We've got them. I've shown them. I'm trying to keep it simple here. Carry it around, get your medicine, right? First rule of threes is medicine. So then it's 3 hours. 3 hours without shelter, right? So basic shelter here, I went with a life bivvy. You can get these little bivvy sacks anywhere. It's basically an emergency blanket. It's a little more heavy duty than a $1 emergency blanket, but essentially it is just an emergency blanket in a bag, a little heavy duty coated. So shelter if there's a storm, if there's anything going on like that, after you can breathe, after you're not bleeding out, shelter is important. This is as basic as you get. I said you can get survival blankets, emergency blankets for like $1. This pushes up a little more. These are more like $5. Some kind of shelter, and you can go from there. You can have tents and winter clothing and socks and a million other things, but just basic shelter. Shelter is important since we're trying to keep the bag small. I already pulled my medical kit out. Just basic shelter, some kind of shelter. Rule of threes, 3 minutes on the medicine, 3 hours on the shelter. The next one is 3 days. The next rule of threes is 3 days. You need water. You're not going to survive much longer than 3 days without water, and obviously that depends on you and the situation and whatnot. Maybe you could do 4, great, good for you. Rule of threes. So we got two options right here. Sawyer water filter, just got this recently. I love it. It holds the water and it filters the water. Life straw doesn't hold the water. You can go to a water source, drink out of the straw. I like this because it's a filter water bottle combo. This is going to be a little bit cheaper, but you want not just a way to carry water, you want a way to filter water, or something to boil water in. But you need water within 3 days, any situation. You need water, you need clean water. So basic prep, get the straw that you can drink through, get some kind of a filter water bottle, something like that, something basic. As I said, I want to fit in a small bag. Then we go into 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks. So we did 3 minutes, we did 3 hours, we did 3 days. Next one is 3 weeks, 3 weeks without food. You don't have to overthink food. We all eat food every day, right? This is just a basic power crunch, protein energy bar, anything like that. Any kind of food that's portable, that has a good shelf life, doesn't have to be MREs or sauce rations or freeze-dried food, just something, jar of peanut butter, right? If you're building out a small bag, something lightweight, something portable, something you can take with you, easy to carry. Right, as I said, I wanted everything to fit in here, and since I pared down my medical kit, probably take up even less space. But think about some kind of basic survival food, something you can carry, something you can eat, preferably protein, right? You kind of want that protein rich because that's going to help drive you if you're in a stressful situation, a lot of physical activity. Things like protein are good. So I'm going to give you 2 bonus items here, still keeping it bare bones. lighter, some way to make fire, right? Along with the shelter, you might want to make fire, cook your food, keep you warm, signal, the list goes on and on. Man cannot survive without fire. So think about any way to start fire. Doesn't have to be a magnesium fire rod or anything else, a lighter, right? Some way to start fire. And then I like this one. I'm throwing this one in as a bonus item, superfluous maybe, emergency radio. So what I like is it's got a flashlight, it's solar charge, it's hand crank charge, and it has your emergency weather band. So worth adding into our little pack here. You have that communication, what's going on in the world over the radio. And since it actually has the ability, it's got the ports, you could use this to charge your cell phone as well. So you can hand crank it as you're going, get the lights going, get the hand crank going, and use it to charge your phone. More emergency communication, super versatile, right? So any kind of multi-tool, anything with multiple uses are always good. But I'm going basics here, guys, right? So that's it. That's my beginner guide. Think about the rule of threes. Think about how you want to prioritize your investments, right? Because everything's super expensive right now. Prioritize your space, your energy, your training. So rule of threes is a great way to go. I know there's the 10 C's. We've gone over that. We've gone over rule of threes before, but I was just trying to visualize something for ultra beginners, right? We get a lot of new people in the prepping community, and I think that's great, right? The more people that are prepared, the less panic there will be if there is an emergency. If one of these things does happen, we're living in a world where a lot of things could happen, whether it's cyber attack or EMP or World War III, you name it, the list goes on. And just having a few basic preps with you can make a huge difference. So as always, hope that helps out. Thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.